Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So last weekend was the Russian Grand Prix. Now I'll let you into a little secret here. I pre-record these videos, so I have no idea at this point what's happened. I'm sure it's going to be completely exciting, right? No, it's going to be boring. We know it's going to be boring because it's Sochi, and it always is. However, this weekend also sees the N24 being run. Now, that is, of course, the Nürburgring 24 hours. And you guys know that I'm a big fan of the Nürburgring. So I'm going to take this GT3 car, of course, GT3 and GT4, one of the many classes in the Nürburgring 24 hours. And I'm going to take it around the full combined circuit along with a few other cars as well, just out on track for a bit of interest. But before we get into that, if you like these videos, if you enjoy the content that I'm making, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and of course the little bell notification as well. But without further ado, let's head out onto track. So here we are heading out of the pits on the GP circuit. Now normally we start these laps at the tourist car park, but obviously the N24 is run on the full combined layout of the Nürburgring, and what that basically means is that you get the GP circuit like normal. You miss out turns 2 and 3 and you head straight round the track. You get the GT chicane, which is a lot quicker than the one that the F1 cars are going to use this weekend. And oh hello, you're braking an awful lot earlier than I am. So there's another SLS GT3 there. Let's see if we can dive up the side of him. And then you head out onto the Nordschleife and you do the full Nordschleife. I don't really need to brake for that corner, but like I say, I'm just feeling these brakes in. So for you, those of you that don't know, obviously I've put in the Fanatec brake kind of performance kit, they call it. And it basically, it's a load of slightly stiffer rubber, and it kind of completely takes all of the slop and all of the slack out of the brake pedal, and the resulting kind of thing is that it's incredibly hard to now press the brake pedal. You get a different kind of, you get a choice of several kind of rubbers to put in there, and I've gone for the hard setting, which in hindsight I probably actually want a slightly softer pedal. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying, yeah, you head out onto the Nordschleife as we are now. We're heading down towards Hatzenbach. Now, obviously with the combined layout, that is 25 kilometers or 15.5 miles, which is a big old track, which basically means they can fit an awful lot of cars. Now, in the N24, there are 23 different classes of various kind of manufacturer cups and kind of classes limited by engine size, and then you have the real competition, which is the GT3 and GT4 cars. Now this is where all the pros come to play, and what we'll talk about later is actually there aren't an awful lot of pro drivers, but yeah, like I say, the winning cars are generally GT3 cars from one of the major manufacturers' teams. And like I say, that's where you will find most of the pro drivers. Now, obviously there are a great kind of lack of pro drivers out there that know the Nürburgring really, really well. So those guys are in high demand for the N24. And what you get is pro drivers doing 2 or 3 different cars. Now, you're not going to see like Mike Conway or kind of Brendan Hartley jumping into a GTE car or like an LMP2 car to race a little bit more at Le Mans. Now, basically the rules go that they can drive, basically I think it's as many cars as they want, as long as they have a 2-hour gap between stints, a 2-hour rest between stints. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that seems mental to me. It's hard enough driving one car and learning one car rather than having to learn 2 or possibly even 3 different cars, different braking points, different setups. But what that means is that the overwhelming majority of drivers at the N24 are amateurs. They all pay for their seats. There's several YouTube channels out there of how much it costs to go and do a season of VLN or drive the N24. And you guys can go out and have a look if that's something that you're interested in finding out. Now, going back to the manufacturers that get involved in this series, it's obviously very big for German manufacturers, and so you'll usually find Mercedes, BMW, Porsche are slogging it out for the top spot. And currently BMW have won the most amount of N24s ever. They obviously won this year as well, so they actually got a bit of a surprise victory, actually, because oh, this is really dark through here. I need to turn the brightness up a little bit, I think. Yeah, they got a bit of a surprise victory, as they've not won in the last 10 years. They've been there or thereabouts, but I think their last win before that was like 2010. And Porsche have the second most amount of victories. They are probably the most kind of successful team of the last kind of 10 years. And one thing that boggles my mind, and this is something that you guys will appreciate, and you'll have seen on my channel, I talk about kind of doing sub 7-minute laps and stuff like that. The pole time for the N24. Now, the pole time for the N24 in 2019 is an 8:09.105. Now, a lot of people struggle to get round the normal Nordschleife in that amount of time, and I'm definitely not going to be troubling that record any time soon. But yeah, to get round the entire 15 miles, 25 kilometers in just over 8 minutes is mental. So I did on Xbox, I actually did an N24. We kind of mocked it up and did different lobbies, and the quick guys in GT3 were in the 8:20s, so they're still 11 seconds slower. Oh, as we've got somebody up behind us now, we have to kind of just pick the pace up a little bit. But yeah, like I said, let's talk about some of the different classes. Now, like I said earlier, there are 23 different classes. Of course, there are GT3 and GT4. And then you also have the Porsche Cayman GT4 Cup, which is a car that's quite... well, it's obviously very similar to GT4 spec. I'm starting to lose a little bit of grip, and I wonder if the rear tyres are a little bit shagged as we head down through Flensgarden 1, and I'm really going to have to stomp on the brakes to get around this one. Please don't lose it now. Yeah, so the Porsche GT3 Cup is obviously the Porsche Cayman GT4, sorry. The GT4 Cup is the Porsche Cayman GT4, and they also run a KTM Crossbow. Now this is an interesting one because obviously KTM, when it's the Crossbow, when it's kind of subject to GT4 regulations, is massively slowed down. It's kind of handicapped by BOP, and they can't take advantage of all the aero that's going on that body. Now, I'm not entirely sure what the situation is for the N24, but I would suggest that the KTM Crossbow, the Cup, is probably a little bit faster than the KTM Crossbow GT4 car. And they also obviously have TCR cars, so touring cars that are homologated and stuff like that. So obviously congratulations to BMW for winning this year's N24. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of kind of information about the N24. If you guys want to go and check it out, it is available in Europe on YouTube, and obviously if you want to go and check that out elsewhere in the world, you'd have to kind of find out who supplies it in your area. But for now, there we go. That's we're heading back out onto the start-finish straight now. That's everything about the N24, and to be honest, this is one of my favourite layouts of track, mainly because it involves the Nürburgring, but also because it's actually just a bit of a challenge. It's not a hot lap to string a lap together around here, and it's one of the nice things. It's one of the reasons that I drive the Nürburgring, is because anybody can have a fluky lap and set a blistering lap time. To be actually quick around here, you need to be consistent, kind of completely consistent, and that's far more of a challenge. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully you'll hit the like button, hit subscribe, do all that fun YouTube stuff, and hopefully we'll see you next time.